Hey, edgelords, thanks so much for tuning in on your internet tuner. We want you to hit subscribe. Isn't that right, Robbie?
That's right. That way you'll get the episodes as they come out every single Wednesday.
You need it, and you want it.
Get ready, Graham. Get fucking ready. You know why?
Because it's the
Edgelords!
We harmonized.
We did harmonize. Finally. This is what I've been waiting for this whole time. It's been time.
That's chemistry.
That is good old-fashioned chemistry. Nothing like it. How are you, Graham? I haven't seen you in a while. You've been on the road with Nate Bargatze for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's been 2 weeks, and but things are
This week in edging.
are good. You know, mostly things are good. My hip is acting up. It's never been worse, and I can't seem to see a specialist about it.
What's going on with the old hip?
I don't know. I'm having muscle spasms. That's new. I've always had a bad hip, but now it's gotten worse. I am on muscle relaxants, which I'm always kind of.
That's pretty cool.
I have a dry mouth, and I'm always kind of dizzy and lethargic.
Sick.
So it was, hard to sort of be a good hang, but I think I was able to be a good hang on the road, and I had good sets. But it goes in and out of being in a lot of pain. And
you don't want to get a reputation on the road as old as bad hip old grandma.
I know.
No fun to hang out with.
That's right.
Always muscles are way too relaxed. He's got dry mouth.
You don't want to be a bummer with bad breath. You know.
You don't want to be a bummer if you can avoid it.
Yeah. So.
And you're rarely a bummer, even with a hip hurting. You're a good time.
Trying to be a good time, you know, and but other than that, other than my worry that I have cancer, I'm okay.
You think there's hip cancer?
I don't know.
I don't know if that's a thing. I don't think you can get hip cancer.
But good.
Okay. Well, that's solved then.
I'd like to be able to afford better health care.
Well, you know how we do that around here on the Edgelords.
By selling some ads.
We sell some goddamn ads. Mm-hmm. And this is an exciting get for us here.
Yeah, this is a good one.
This is a practical company.
Yeah, they got
a lot of tech.
They just got crowdsourced funding. They got IPO.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're really making a big difference out there.
They are.
So, this is a company called Man with a Knife.
Man with a Knife.
Yes. So if you're anything like me, you have dozens of ancient Japanese blades around the house, but you never have the knives you need for cooking.
No, you don't. And good knives are so expensive. Thousands of dollars, and they always need to be sharpened.
That's right. That's why you need Man with a Knife. It's like Man with a van, only a knife.
And between you and me, he probably has a van. Just type in your address, gender, and weight, and a man with a knife will be right over with his knife.
Use Man with a Knife for cutting, chopping, slicing, and dicing.
Just open the app, and a strange man will show up at your door with a knife.
Man with a Knife is in every rural area of the country and proud to be part of a government-sponsored violent rehabilitation program.
Use promo code Stranger with a Knife. And the first cut is on us. And maybe on you.
Maybe. Are we ready for a guest?
Let's do it.
Let's bring one on. Well, we're here with another fantastic guest, everybody.
Yes, we are.
He is a stand-up comic and actor with a 1-hour Comedy Central special, as well as an appearance on Conan and Conan. He's been on the Chappelles Show, VH1's Best Week Ever, and his third special, Show Your Work, is available now.
Yes, Lord. Welcome, Daddy.
Christian Finnegan,
Christian
everybody.
Finnegan.
I didn't realize we had live morning zoo crew.
Yes.
The production
sound
value
effects,
here
yeah.
is through the roof.
We have spent a lot of money.
We're trying to recoup it.
Yes.
It's not going well.
No.
We made a lot of bad choices early on.
All right.
We're into
Sunk
some
costs.
pretty bad people.
Yes.
We owe some bad people. We're here to ask for money, Christian.
Okay.
That's
well,
what this
I'll
is.
see what,
Yeah, you have a lot of. You've done a lot of stuff.
I've done a lot of stuff. It adds up to me doing a podcast here with you on a Monday night. That's where
this
it
is
all.
not a good sign for us.
It's not a
This
Saturday
is
night.
Where it is all led.
It's not a Saturday night because we're out.
Doing comedy.
Yeah.
Making money.
Making money.
Big bucks.
I don't
Bucks.
put in Sundays and Mondays sets anymore because I don't want to have to deal with alternate side parking. That's how pathetic my life is.
That's where you got.
Yeah, that's where.
Yeah. But Sunday's a good takeoff day anyway.
I think so.
It is. It is
Yeah.
true.
Monday, get out there. Fuck, I don't, and I park wherever the fuck I want anyway. They can't. Their rules can't hold me.
You are the bad boy of comedy.
I'm the bad boy of comedy.
Absolutely, man. I mean,
Also
just
mine.
like you do your own research on where the parking should happen.
That's right.
That's
Don't let
right.
the government tell you
Yeah,
where
yeah.
to park. You
Exactly.
trust them? You trust
Yeah.
Mayor Bill de Blasio to tell you where to put your car?
Nixon, part of the government. He lied.
That's a very good point, which you don't hear raised often enough.
No, people don't talk about it enough. People really let that guy slide.
And what about Benghazi?
What about it, huh? See? This is get ready.
I used to drive a
Strap in.
Ford Benghazi. It's beautiful.
It's a nice car. Terrible gas mileage. All right. Christian, we've already talked about money a lot. That's the whole point of this is we're turning edgy because we want to get rich.
Yeah,
All right?
sure.
What we're doing, it's not working. It's clearly not working.
We need followers,
need-
literal followers.
yeah, yeah.
Lonely men.
Yes, sheep.
Who need a leader.
And
Yes,
we want to be
absolutely.
those leaders.
Yes.
So we like to have our friends on, see how edgy they are, see if they can hang. And we do that through our edgy lightning round. We're going to ask you some questions, and we're going to assess you between 1 and 5 kettlebells of edginess.
Okay.
You want 5.
I want 5. 5 is good.
Yes.
The more kettlebells, the better.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Obs.
Not even a conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Edgy lightning round.
It's electric.
Christian Finnegan.
Yes, sir.
We start every lightning round with the holy trinity of questions. And I'm going to ask you them right now. What is your favorite alcohol, cigarette brand, and drug?
Alcohol, I can is bourbon.
Okay.
That's sort of edgy, right?
I like that.
It's edgy in
classic
kind of
edge.
like Christopher Hitchens kind of way. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
like elder edgy.
Yes, an annoying dick.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like the guys who hang out on the Ben Shapiro talk show. You can see them with a tumbler
it's
of
just
bourbon, right?
Forcing their way through a cigar they're clearly not enjoying.
That's why I did
It's it's such like man cosplay.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. That's so funny.
Yes, that's fully what it is. And at the center of it, the key alpha is a 5'4" Muppet Jew who's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and they all have to pretend that he's not the alpha because they all have to be alphas. We are a unit of alphas, which
Yes.
seems kind of contradictory, but so yeah, I bourbon, Woodford Reserve is sort of my the way I feel about bourbon is kind of the way I feel about like a lot of things. Like I can tell the difference between like a pretty good bourbon and a shitty bourbon, but after that I can't. I can't tell the difference between like a $12 glass of bourbon
no.
and like a 30. Like I can't.
No,
you know?
no.
Yeah, I think I once got we were in Ireland, so I sprung for a 30-year age shot, which was I paid some insane amount of money, like $65 just to experience
So you
it.
could say you did it.
Yeah, and it was whiskey, like all the other whiskey.
Yep.
There was no way I'd ever be able to know the difference.
I've also, and this might lower my kettlebell quotient, and I've also
Quotient.
All using the word quotient.
Yeah,
quotient that
quotient
is
is-
very not edgy. I could see Ben Shapiro quotient, my kettlebell quotient. I don't like shots. I've come to the conclusion that never in my life have I been happy to have done a shot. I either feel neutral about it or I regret it. Like there's never a feeling
Yeah.
of like, man, that's really when the night got great is when I did shots.
I mean,
like,
that's how Graham and I hydrate, but I get where you're coming from.
shots
you know?
of just pure
Just
electrolytes
shots
or
of pure
shots of just jizz. But
Oh, come on.
to up your
Christian.
testosterone. I'm sorry.
Good God! No
straight.
shots. I make.
I think.
Well,
Yeah.
Who? What?
I'm
not
totally
boxed
straight.
in.
I'm saying it can be your own. I'm just saying it's.
Oh yeah, that's straight. It's
We're
straight to drink
straight.
your own cum, right?
We're like,
Before the
like Ben,
testosterone?
no one comes.
No, I fucking cannot stand taking a shot. It's disgusting. I don't get it. I'm not into it. If I'm doing bourbon, Basil Hayden is my bourbon of choice.
I
The
like a
nicest
shot
bottle.
in the very beginning and never again of an evening.
Oh, that's fair.
like just
yeah.
to start things off.
I'm stressed. Or I did something stressful and it's over. And give me a shot.
It puts a period on the work period, and now the
Yeah, we
relaxation.
cannot go back.
begins.
It's
yes.
no return.
We're getting started. It's happening.
But then because you immediately within 3 minutes feel a little the edge is off right away. You don't have to wait for the the beer to figure its way through your
I guess
system.
that's a good point.
But the 6 beers in, let's do a shot with a friend at 2 a.m. shot. Always a mistake. Never, always hurts you.
Yeah.
Always. Sometimes it makes your night end early.
Yeah, you're right. Because it's just like, oh, now I'm not having fun anymore. I'm literally just trying to focus so that you guys can't see how drunk I am right now.
Yeah. You're doing that thing, just focusing. Yeah.
Where you start to really over-enunciate words because you
Yeah.
want to make sure that people know that you're not drunk and that you are capable of saying words.
It's good that you have that ability. Because when I hit that I'm too drunk point, then I announce it pretty widely.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm too drunk.
Are you like a sleepy drunk?
Yeah, well,
I don't know. I get that. Like some people, they get drunk and they just kind of their eyes go to half mast. Like I don't know because you don't seem like an aggressive guy.
I'm not aggressive. I think I'm kind of like a.
See, I could
fun,
see you being
happy
aggressive. Not like physically aggressive, but like, are you guys mad at me? Like that kind of.
Oh, I can see that for sure.
No, I get happy, but I do get aggressive.
Yeah.
I start like wrestling.
This guy.
I'm like I could see.
That's the thing I hate when like guys start being like, whoosh, they'll start punching you and like, what's my reaction meant to be to this? Like they'll get you in like an arm bar. Like, okay,
You gotta love the
fighting
fucking
now.
the shadow boxing before the set comedian.
Yeah.
That guy. All right, buddy, you're fucking doing jokes. Calm down.
Yeah, I grew up playing hockey.
Yeah, I saw Rita Rudner doing that once.
Don't fuck with Rita Rudner.
Anyway,
Sorry, I interrupted.
the hockey guy comes out sometimes.
Yeah,
But I'm
I
happy.
can see that.
I'm a happy
I've
guy.
seen you
mostly.
before sets, like taking another comedian's shirt and pulling it over their head,
Yes.
so that it traps their arms like this.
Yes. That's how I win.
Yeah.
That's how I exert my dominance.
It works.
I think those are all solid.
Okay.
answers.
Sorry. So in cigarettes, I don't smoke cigarettes.
You have to have an answer.
Okay. Candy cigarettes.
That's
Sorry,
an answer.
no,
doesn't like shots, candy, cigarettes. Well, you can
Candy,
make it.
cigarettes.
You can make up some lost points here on drug.
I mean, I would have to say marijuana. It's really the only drug. I mean, after my heart surgery, metoprolol.
Life saving. That's good. That'll win you back.
That's important.
That'll win you back a kettlebell. It's necessary.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
For life. Yeah, we've never had that as an answer.
We
right?
haven't had metropol
No,
as an answer.
it's just a life-saving drug.
Ask your doctor if metropol is right. For we're trying to make money at every angle.
Yeah.
we can.
Hey, man. I don't think they really have a good like ad campaign.
Well, we can be the
metoprolol.
ones, to really bring metropol to the forefront.
Metoprolol, please.
Metoprolol.
Get a better name.
Yeah, that's part of it too. But yeah, as drugs, I would have to say marijuana because it's really the only drug I do. I haven't done other drugs.
Classic
I've never
answer?
done any other drugs.
Me.
Yet you had heart surgery.
I know, unrelated. I've always wanted to do drugs. I
Well, you
really
can't
feel
now.
like probably not. Yeah, although my heart itself was fine. I had an aortic aneurysm, so it was literally just the aorta.
Was that
so
mean
they had-
clogged bit?
No, it was just like
Something
just
just
getting
exploded?
just getting larger.
Oh, an aneurysm, right?
And it's but it's a genetic defect kind of thing, and it happens, and it rarely, if it ruptures, then you're dead. The guy who wrote Rent, Jonathan Larson, that's how he died.
I would have
Other
guessed another
people-
way.
AIDS.
Thank you, Graham.
I like how you reached out and grabbed that subtext and just pulled it up to the text.
We don't have a learned listenership. We have to.
Gotta really spoon feed it. to him.
Yeah. Here comes the AIDS
Here it
joke.
comes.
But yeah, I've always wanted to do coke, just because I think it would help me. Like I'd probably like it way too much because like what I have a hard time doing is kind of believing in my sort of ideas and following through on them and kind of moving forward. Like I get locked in my thought, like maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Whereas I feel like people who do coke are just like, yes, let's start now.
great.
Let's
Go,
do it.
go,
like,
go.
and that I could probably use that sort of hubris injection.
Yes. Sure.
But, but then I've also met people who've done coke and I see what they're like. And that has always stopped me.
Right.
Yeah. In theory, though, the theory of like the little confidence boost, the little follow through is nice. I feel
to
like
just stop questioning yourself for 30 seconds to just move forward would
just for
be
once,
helpful.
just for one goddamn
for
second
once.
to live in the moment.
So I don't know how many kettlebells that's worth. Very few, I imagine.
Well, just do it alone in your house.
We got a lot of edgy lightning round up ahead of us.
Hope it's not fentanyl, because then you'll die alone.
That's just to sit at home alone doing cocaine is one of the craziest things I've
People,
ever heard.
cocaine people do that.
Do they really?
Like, I don't
addicts.
think that's how they start.
No.
Oh, you're certainly not. Yeah,
No.
just a little night in,
No.
just an 8-ball and some noodles. Christian,
Yes.
what is your best tattoo? And you have to have one.
I have a lower back tattoo of a mistletoe sprig.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's
That's
a good
nice.
one.
It's festive.
Appreciate that. Yeah, and
You
then,
have
Yeah.
to kiss. That means you have to kiss.
Yeah, no,
right. I see.
I get it.
yeah.
It's asshole.
That's right. Yeah, pretty edgy.
It's called analingus, I believe, is the
Is it really?
I don't know,
That's
rim
the,
job,
I think
whatever.
The
and it's-
analingus, I believe, is the official term. You know?
yeah, I think so. It's. I mean, that's the search term.
Yeah,
That's what I was getting at. What do I search?
that's the one.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Well, here's one. You've lost a lot of weight a long time ago.
Gain most of it back now.
And you look great. And you've
not a
been
big fat.
skinny for almost as long as you were overweight. What do you like more, seeing your penis or not seeing it and imagining that it's bigger?
Oh, that's a good one. I literally have probably gained back 2/3 of the weight I originally lost. Now I lost 90 pounds like 15 years ago, and now I'm definitely bursting through weight classes. I do miss my penis. Like I mean I can still see my penis, but I don't see enjoy the just it's kind of.
Can I say that you look
kind of do one of these? But
you look like you can see your penis.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I've
which is
always
the-
been
the
skinny.
best
I've
compliment
always
I've
been
ever-
skinny from the neck up. That's always been the problem. Is that
I
like I look
see.
in a mirror, I'm like, oh, I look fine,
Yes.
and then I see like a
Can
full
we
length.
see your penis?
Have you or can you?
Can we?
Can you?
Doesn't be on the podcast. Just some other.
Just in theory.
Just can we? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Call my people. We'll set something up.
How desperate is your management?
we'll schedule a viewing.
Don't just call your wife. Hello. We're two men.
I am
Yeah,
holding.
Christian will do it for $60.
I am holding an open pants tomorrow. You guys could swing by and put in an offer.
All right. Christian, this is, I'm remembering something from a conversation we have. I could be wrong about all of this, but I believe you grew up doing musical theater. And we're
I mean, other things too. I didn't just
specifically,
grow up.
you only did musical theater. You grew up in the
I woke
theater,
up-
theater bred.
Yeah.
You were once in an all-white production of The Wiz. Is
Yes,
that
I was.
correct?
Yes,
Which
I
is
was.
technically The Wizard of Oz, as far as I know. How much money would you need to star in an all-white version of Hamilton? You would be Hamilton.
Oh man, I'm sure that there's probably some road tours where they were like really having to sort of shuffle around the people of color to make it look more diverse than it actually was. I mean, like for every group of people, we'll have at least one half Latino. Like I'm sure the touring company in Canada. No offense, but I mean, I'm sure
We don't have a lot of Latin X people.
Yes.
We have a lot of Latinos because we don't toe that line.
Yeah, that's right.
No, but we don't. We're getting more. We're in the market.
If you're asking me now, how much would you have to pay me? I'm going to try to find an actual.
Yeah, I want an
number for
actual
this.
number. This is real. Let's say
Because the publicity would be worth money. I'd have to acquire a different audience.
new fan base for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or a fan base. But I would say $300,000.
Annually.
Oh, annually. $80,000 annual. I don't know why I was like
Less.
80. Definitely that extra 5 really pushed it over.
Less.
I don't know. Less?
I say you're worth more. You should ask for much.
I
more
should
for
probably
this.
ask for more.
This is
So
a-
for
I
one
don't
time,
think
it
I
was
understand.
$300,000. For a whole year, you only get 80. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm winging this. I'm
I
winging
see.
this. I mean, if you ask me tomorrow, it might be 10 million because I'd never do it. But I think it would be. Oh man, I would go to sleep so tense and upset every night, like going to rehearsals and knowing what was coming down the pike. Do you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine just because you have like 3 months of rehearsals,
Yes.
and you know that you're just gonna get roasted. That's always the thing. Do you have recurring nightmares?
Not really recurring, but
The only recurring nightmare that I have, and it's variations on the same sort of theme. It's like, I remember like you're in a plane, you're like flying the plane or you're in the plane and the engines have gone out, but you're the only person who knows. Like
Okay.
everybody else still thinks everything is fine, but you know the plane is going down. It's always some variation of that, of just that like, how am I going to tell people? Like,
Yeah.
what's the dread? That dread, and
Interesting.
that's what that would feel like to me. Is just like, I'm so fucked in 3 months.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Like every time I'm watching, I don't watch a lot of soccer, but when you'll see somebody doing like a penalty shot and the goalie, it's like a 50-50.
Yeah.
I either jump right or I jump left, and it's kind of, we'll see.
You just have no idea. Yeah.
And you see that the goalie will jump to the right, but the instant you can see on he or she's face that they picked wrong.
Yes.
And the ball is going in the other direction. Like I relate to that moment so fucking much because it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
It's not, the bad thing hasn't happened
Yes.
yet.
Yes.
But it's
The moment you're describing that is the picture of my comedy career. Just diving to the right, acknowledging that left was the way to go. Yeah.
exactly. So so I would probably do it. Let's say $300,000 a year. I have to at least be able to clear, and this after taxes, by the way.
Okay,
So-
that's fair. So that's
so
a half mil
yeah.
we're looking at. Yeah.
Say half
Yeah,
mil a year.
you
Half
should be
mil
able
a
to buy
year.
some Woodford Reserve.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Every night. You're a handsome man.
Thank you.
Do you think it's ever?
Did you take a note for that? Was that on your notes?
It
No.
really is.
You're a handsome man. Do you think it's ever held you back in comedy? Basically, should I get a huge scar or gain a ton of weight or something?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But not quite in the way that you think. It's never held me back in comedy, but it held me back like when I was going on auditions trying to act. Because I was always a bit of a tweener, like not fit enough to be like a real actor, but not like fat, not goofy enough to be like the funny friend
Same.
or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just we don't really know what to do with you.
Yeah.
I like to blame it on that as opposed to my terrible acting. But yeah, so I do think that there are times when I know that when I was heavy, when I used to get sort of a everyman benefit of the doubt from the crowd.
Right.
And when I lost weight
On
and I
stage, you mean?
Yeah,
Doing comedy, stand-up.
People just kind of like, no,
He's one of the guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Look, he's chubby fucker, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when I lost weight, I lost it like pretty rapidly, and it like my body and my face changed pretty radically over the course of about 9 months. And even though I was doing some of the same bits, they just landed much meaner. Like they landed more harshly.
Totally.
And people
Yeah.
liked me less. And I
yeah.
noticed that. So I guess in that sense, yes, but that's why I'm getting fat again, man.
It is like, but it is crazy, like just how like what you're wearing and like how you look, it has such an impact on the words you say
Yeah.
on stage, like the way people just read it and interpret it.
Yeah, I mean, you can fight against that as much as you want, but people are getting a visual stimulus from you, whether you want them to or not.
I remember watching this like very attractive lady comedian doing a whole like set about how her boyfriend just won't fuck her. And it was like the jokes themselves were like, they were all there. They were funny, but the audience was just like, the women were just like, I hate you.
Yeah.
And the men were all just like, why won't he? I will.
Yeah.
He will. And it was just like, it was 5 minutes of confusion for like pretty solid jokes.
Yeah, and you can't fight that.
And Casey's a good comedian.
Exactly. But I'm busy.
Yeah.
I've got things to do. Someone's got to pay the bills around
You
here.
have 2 podcasts.
You think I
I
have?
have 2 podcasts. I can't.
2 podcasts?
I
What's the
can't
second
get it
podcast?
up.
This is my only podcast, and then I'm
He's a co-producer for helps
on
produce.
the Jon
and
Stewart.
he's on the
one
Jon
here
Stewart
now, but
podcast.
this is my podcast. That one I fought with him. I was like, maybe this podcast should be branded as mine as well, but he was pretty sure like maybe the Jon Stewart
the
name
Jon
will
Stewart name, yeah.
sell more a little bit, and I disagreed. But
It's debatable.
who knows?
6 to 1. That doesn't.
What if you call the Jon Stewart one the Edgelords?
Can we do that?
I asked John.
All right, I will.
Tell him my idea.
Yes, I will. Graham has an idea. But we take over your podcast. All right, here we go. Oh, here we go. This is a pretty edgy question. Christian,
Yes, sir.
better era for music, the 80s or the 90s?
I am going to say the 90s, just because I think that there was a lot, what is considered the 80s. There's a lot more that went on in the 80s than what people consider like the 80s,
Sure.
I would say the 80s were better for pop singles, but the 90s were better for albums. If that makes sense.
Does make sense. It does make sense. What's an 80s pop sing? Is that like, what are we talking, like Madonna?
Well, yeah, I mean, or, I mean, anything, but I'm saying in terms of, Duran Duran, like a band that maybe might like 2 or 3 songs, but not their whole oeuvre. Because, obviously that was the sort of the MTV era, and so there's a lot of emphasis put on sort of just one-hit wonder type
Just get
artists.
a video out there right now, yeah.
Yeah, and whereas, I think in the 90s, certainly in the grunge world, and even post-grunge, like, post-hardcore and all that, there was more sort of a fandom of an artist.
Yeah.
And so you might actually, like, listen to full albums, less so than an 8, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
I also think hip-hop figured it out around, like, 1992. It as an art form was like it was the wrapping up better, the production. It was like I think like 92, 93 and on. Like you got a lot of good rap albums, whereas before it was very primitive.
Well, yeah, it was very boom bap. That sort of my name is Graham and I am.
Sounds good to me.
I love ham.
Yes, it went from up tempo to G funk is what happened.
To a G-funk.
To a G-funk.
Right, Ed?
Yeah, that's right. They moved from these up-tempo beats.
G-funk.
I think it was the 90s too.
I think it's the 90s.
Whitesnake sucks. Nirvana's good.
Yeah, I mean, that might just dovetail, though, with where I was in my life. In the 80s, I was in junior high and high school.
I think
elementary school.
Nirvana.
Whitesnake
kids, 22-year-old kids are wearing Nirvana shirts. They're not wearing Whitesnake shirts.
I hate Nirvana. I hate the pronunciation.
Nirvana. It's uncomfortable. I don't like
really,
it.
Nirvana?
Yeah. Nirvana is the way your mom would say it.
Yeah, Nirvana is weird.
That's how we said it in Canada.
Specifically the way your mom would say it.
That's how we said it in Canada.
That's the way she said it
we
last
say
night.
pasta, we say Nirvana,
Pasta, yeah.
and we say...
Pasta I'm okay with. I don't like it, but I'm okay with it. That's how they say it in England as well.
We say literally?
I don't like it.
You say literally.
Literally.
Sounds like shit.
But they're literally called Nirvana.
Literally, I kind of like. It's a little floppy, but I like it.
I don't know. That's the way I grew up. I didn't know it was.
Okay.
That's how I was born.
Guys, Whitesnake fucking
Born this
rules.
I was in a hair metal band in the 80s, and we used to play a couple Whitesnake covers.
Fuck yeah. Sick.
We played
you just, every kettlebell you thought you had lost, you gained back with that statement.
Excellent.
I don't even know if you're joking.
No, not at all. I was in a metal band called Fallout, and I was the singer. But
how old were you?
13,
okay,
14, whatever. It was like 8th grade and 9th grade.
Wow.
And I was still chunky, which is always awkward, but also I was like, my voice was still kind of changing. I was in like chorus and stuff like that. And so I was like sang, but that was in that metal era. And so I'd have to like bring a lot of the songs down an octave, which, like we would play like Night Train by Guns N' Roses and I'd be like, I'm on the night train. I love that stuff.
Here I go again on my own.
Yeah, the 90s would have been much better for my vocal range than the 80s, but
I'm back in black.
Pretty much, yeah.
You shook me all night long. Just a chunky kid, a chunky 13-year-old
with a butt cut mullet.
Yeah. And I'd just be a 40-year-old outside your garage, like, these kids are pretty good, pretty good.
They got it.
They're going places. They're going places. It's your turn.
That's a hot chick. I like chick bands.
Excuse me, sir. Please step away from the house.
Your wife runs a comedy club in Queens. Does that make you...
Like that's an accusation. What? Who said that?
I'll start again.
Sorry.
Your wife runs a comedy club in Queens. Does that make you the Evita or the Imelda Marcos of comedy?
You didn't write that question.
I did write that question.
You had such a hard time reading it. I know.
Surprised. I did write that question, but I
had a last minute audible.
I've never read Imelda. I always thought it was Imelda Marcos, not Imelda Marcos.
Okay, I see. It's too bad that you were forced to pick that one name out of all the millions of people in the world.
Well, it's the one that came to mind because she was the most egregious with the money.
Yes.
And living in an ivory tower.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
You see?
I'm more like the Reek. from Game of Thrones. I would not.
I see.
I'm definitely not the millions of pairs of shoes guy. I am.
So you really haven't seen your penis in quite some time.
Oh yeah, it's in my wife's purse. But yeah, no, I am the in case of emergency in like 1,000 different ways. And there's always an emergency, it turns out.
Who knew?
Who'd have thought? Certainly since the pandemic. Before the pandemic, there was like a big staff and everything was going fine. But now it's like, it's kind of operating on a skeleton crew because it's still people aren't going out. And so we can't really afford a full staff. And so I'm sort of occasional bartender, occasional promotion dude, occasional clean the toilet guy. Yeah. That's actually, and I'm not trying to promote whatever, God forbid. But the special that is coming out, that is out now, it's a stand-up special that we shot in the backyard in the middle of the pandemic. But there's also some doc footage of, that's why it's called Show Your Work, because a lot of it is footage of me working. I literally, my goal was for it to be the opposite of badass. Like I wanted it to be so many specials, try to like pump up a comic and make them seem like much bigger than they are. Yeah. And I've done a couple of those. It's like, no, I really want this to be like exactly what it is.
Right.
Like, as hard and challenging and kind of as bit of a just a labor of love as it is, as opposed to.
I love that.
Yeah. And the venue, by the way, is super cool. QED
it is.
in Queens.
QEDastoria.com.
Very seamless. Well done. But it is a super cool venue. Like cool shows and then like coffee shop, books and stuff like that. I'm a fan.
It is cool.
All right. Christian, you've done a ton in your career. You might best be known for your appearance on Chappelle's Show.
Yes.
Would you like right now to make any declarative statements about gender in solidarity with Dave? Keep in mind, you could get canceled to the tune of 4 $20 million specials.
Got it. I think it was very bold of Dave to do an hour of comedy and stretch it out over 5 specials.
Yes.
That's like so disrespectful for me to say because like I literally owe that dude my career.
Sure.
Really when it gets to, I mean, I've done other stuff, but so much of it flows from being like the guy on Chappelle's Show.
Yeah.
And so I don't say that. I mean, of course I say that because it's a fucking, what I think of as a funny line, but it does not bring me delight to say that.
Sure.
It makes me feel shitty. And I've kind of tried to avoid the whole thing just because, first of all, if I defend Dave, then it looks like I'm just kissing ass or whatever. And if I come out, then I feel like I'm like betraying him or whatever. And nobody cares what I think also. That's the other criteria. But it bums me out.
Yeah.
It bummed me out. And I mean, I haven't seen all of the closer yet, but it's just literally today I did watch that 15-minute closer about his story about the trans comedian or whatever. And I found it really gross. I found it super gross. I found it self-serving and first of all, almost entirely unverifiable that, it's like, and let me tell you the story about how awesome I was to this one person and how shitty everybody else was and how it proves that I'm right and everybody else is wrong. It's like, when I was watching that, I imagined him to like switch the story. And it's like, I tell these jokes on stage and all the black activists come after me. But then I met this one black guy, and he sat in the front row and he laughed at all the jokes because it wasn't about identity.
Right.
It was about the jokes. And that man's name was Clarence Thomas.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, not to say that this trans woman was any sort of Clarence Thomas type person, but we don't know this person. Like the fact that he would kind of use her as sort of like a meat shield, like really bummed me out. And Louis doing the same thing now by like having like trans comics like open for him and stuff. And it's just kind of like, all right. I mean,
sure, whatever works.
Whatever. But I just I
haven't watched it to be honest. But
I know it's hard because he's a god. He's on my Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
He's never not going to be. Killing him softly is like literally one of the things that got me starting to do comedy.
Yes.
Like I bring the
It's
pain.
my favorite special of all time.
You just hit a point where you get too successful. You just get too successful and then it's too hard to get a grip on reality.
And also just, because you have a lot of keen insight on one topic, that doesn't mean you have keen insight on every topic.
Right.
And it's like, because of who Dave is, I think, and because of his background, the fact that he grew up in sort of white culture just to a certain degree, he has an insight into race that other comics just don't have, like a way more nuanced and acute view
And
of
also,
racial
he
dynamics.
had a tutor growing up in his mother who was a university professor.
Yeah, I mean,
In that field, I believe.
but yes,
So it's
exactly. But I'm just saying, it's like
you have, he is.
he has 20/20 vision when it
Yes.
comes to that stuff.
Yes.
But I think that, people have jerked him off so much for the past 20 years that he just assumes that means he has insight on everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And, and so much of, at the end where he says, like, trying to take away a man's livelihood is akin to killing him. No, it's not.
It's really not.
Flatly not. It
You
is,
also, you have $100 million. Like,
Yeah.
there's no livelihood to be taken away. You're
Yes.
rich in perpetuity.
When you're surrounded by sycophants for 20 years, especially the last 5 years, you will say stuff like that.
yeah.
And no one will tell you it's crazy.
Right.
And so it becomes real. I mean, you literally have people
Everybody
flying
doesn't agree as a hater.
to a compound
Right.
in Idaho or wherever the
Yeah.
fuck.
Ohio. It's Ohio.
Yeah.
Yellow Springs,
Ohio.
Ohio.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, Chalet was sharp. Did you read that thing that she wrote for, I think it was Vulture, when the last special came out? She wrote a
vaguely
great
remember it, yeah.
article, basically just saying that she's older and she's like, some of this stuff is fucking crazy to me too, but just, stop eye rolling and like listen and just and my whole feeling about this is like, the young people are always right. They're always right, not because they are right, but because they're the ones who are going to be around, and it will become right. Whatever young people believe.
history is
what-
written by the victors. We
Yes.
are going to lose by the simple fact we're going to die before them.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so it's like arguing with rain to me.
Totally.
It's
That's
like,
funny.
You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could win. I could beat Rain.
Yeah,
That's
think
just
so.
me. Whatever. I don't care. Get an umbrella. Tough guy.
Trying to
Sorry, that was
steer
way
this
too serious.
podcast back.
But I've kind of like in the past few days thought to myself like, why am I like, I don't want to address it because again, it doesn't fit into a tweet, my feelings about it.
Yeah.
And also in so much of the discourse around it is everything I hate about what comedy has
Well,
become in the past 5 years.
I will say this because I'm like I'm very much of the like cancel culture is bullshit. It's just like criticism has been democratized, so you hear people get to say something back to you now.
Yeah.
But I fully forgot where I was going with this point.
I think you were going to then say, but that said, I hate
But
trans
that
people.
said, trans people
That's-
are the problem.
yes, okay.
No, I honestly don't remember what the fuck I was going somewhere with it, but I don't know. Someone save me. Move on. What had you said right before I said what I said? Any
I
recollection?
said that that it doesn't all fit into a tweet and that it's indicative of like what I hate about what comedy's become in the past 5 years. That it becomes like if he had done a super tight hour of just amazing material, people would not be talking about it.
Which he still has the ability to, but is not
Yeah,
doing.
but why would you? Like,
Yeah.
why would you if you know you're going to get more attention
Yeah.
by just sort of being preachy and provocative? All the things. It's so funny. All the people who came out against, Hannah Gadsby, of course, and she's been dragged into this now. It's like they'll completely do an about face if the person upstairs not telling jokes and being preachy
Yes.
is sort of a balm to make them feel like they don't have to make any changes in their lives,
Right.
And you hear so many comics and, so many friends of mine or friends of ours, like peers, and they'll be like, I'm mostly liberal. It's just that, they go too far. It's like 90% of things I'm like a liberal, but then they're fucking crazy. It's like what I hear when people say that is I'm totally liberal when it requires nothing of me.
Right.
But the minute you ask me to change my behavior, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's too far.
And that's the thing I was going to say is that people expect you, like, even if you know something is clearly like right and the right thing, they expect you to have no like loyalty, I guess, in that like there would be no sympathy for you to be like, I actually feel some type of loyalty to Dave because like he launched, so I'd rather say nothing. And then you get in this like, well, fuck you. Then you're like,
Well, but and again, it's like, but a lot of times also when people, they say they're being canceled or they're being attacked, it's like, no, you're not. You're being used as a performance vessel for people to impress their own followers.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like everyone's exploiting everybody. It's
Yes.
like if you were to say something like horribly racist right now, and I, or you tweeted something and I jumped on, it's like, yeah, maybe I'm taking you to task, but really what I'm doing is performing for my followers.
Yes.
Like, see what I'm, see how I'm different than this person. And a lot of times I feel like that gets looped into being canceled, or it's like, no, you're not. We're just all fucking narcissists performing.
Yes, and it's just
Yeah,
the cosmic cycle. It happens.
Yeah.
It's just a constantly churning thing, and it'll be someone else tomorrow, and everyone will play their exact same role over and over and over again until sweet, merciful death comes for us all.
God,
What's your favorite way to shred your bod?
stretch my bod?
Shred
my bod.
Yeah.
Cheese grater. Sorry.
I regret having him on.
Yeah, we
Sorry.
made him.
I do since the I do Taibo. Do you know what Taibo is?
You found a cassette tape in the trash and you put it in? And then,
Billy Blanks is a homeless man in your neighborhood now?
the hardest part was getting a VCR.
No, I've been doing it.
That's the hardest part of the workout.
You got him.
Getting a
You
VCR.
got him good.
Okay.
All right. Billy Blanks tape.
Yes, Billy Blanks. My wife and I have we have a little cabin up in upstate New York, and there's no gyms or anything up there. And so when it's too cold to go jogging or whatever, when I would jog, and sometimes I'll do Taibo. And then since the pandemic, I've even been doing that in the city sometimes. And they're all on YouTube. I had a couple of DVDs when I first started, but what I like about the Taibo is that you don't, at least the ones I do, you don't need anything, and you don't have to get on the ground because where I'd be working out upstate is like there's not even ground, and so you're kind of on your, and it's just cardio, and it has like a beat to it, you know?
Yeah.
And so it kind of keeps you going.
Oh, that's good.
Whereas like all the sort of online workouts that are just silent and you're, with some stupid ambient
You're just like,
music.
that's all you hear.
There's too many, but there's just too many points where you can just stop. Whereas like if there's like a rhythm going on that I feel compelled to keep going, it's harder to bail for me.
That's a good maybe I'll try that.
To me, the only upstate workout that's acceptable is outdoor wood chopping shirtless.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the move.
And you got to hit the tire with that big hammer.
Oh, yeah, that's a big
important.
one.
Yeah,
You gotta
that's always a weird one too. Like, because what is that meant to accomplish?
It really fucks that tire up.
It's like,
I'll show you, tire.
It's like when like Babe Ruth would get back in shape. He was just quit cigarettes and chop wood. You're like, I'm back.
I'm back, baby. It was a better time.
Not so many hot dogs.
I have chopped wood before, but I am deathly afraid of missing the wood and the axe hitting me in the shin. I don't know. That is.
You should be.
That's not an irrational fear. Yeah, that's a real fear. Yeah,
I don't know how it doesn't happen more often.
Yeah, it probably does.
They don't. The media doesn't want you to know.
They don't want you to know they're covering it up.
Big wood,
Big
doesn't want you
lumber,
to know
big
about
wood.
that.
Or it's like how men never report being hit by women because it's too embarrassing. So people just go into their emergency room and like,
it was a
Axeman, crazy Axeman.
You hear this on
It's
other
a hockey mask guy.
Yeah.
podcasts, but there's 5 times as much female on male violence as there is the other way.
I had always.
Is that true?
Yes.
I had always felt like that
women
was
are
true.
responsible for most of the violence.
Yeah,
That seems true.
It
feels true,
yeah,
right?
Well, we
Yeah.
said it, so it's true.
yeah.
Someone really needs to take them down a peg or two.
Yeah. Maybe we'll take away 30% of their salary.
Good idea. That'll balance it out.
Put in escrow for all our medical bills.
All right, Christian. Who is your favorite all-time babe? Can be a man or a woman.
Favorite all-time babe? Boy, that is a like famous babe, like a babe.
It's not going to play as well if you're like Jenny from high school. Yeah.
Wow, that is a really hard one. There was a girl that I went to like junior high with that I never spoke to.
I know
And
her.
she's the platonic ideal of a babe to me because I never spoke to her and I had no chance to ruin it. Like she's just this completely archetypal girl. I mean, it feels weird as a 48-year-old man to be going back to junior high for something like that. Because I barely remember what she looks like, but I do know I had this just sort of like for a long time. I'd be like, "Oh yeah, she's the hottest girl in the world."
And
When
you
I-
never.
when
Go ahead.
When I was like maybe 15, I hooked up. My first time hooking up with a girl. We didn't have sex, but we were like in bed naked together. And then I didn't do that for another 4 years. And I would always think about it. And it got to a point where I was like 19, 18. I mean, like I can't think about this anymore. This girl, I'm a pedophile.
Yeah.
If I think about it.
No, it's weird how sometimes you'll see like a teenage girl on the street and you'd be like, oh, that's a child. But if you flip through your high school yearbook, they're still attracted
They look to you.
Yeah,
because they're still that.
They look older.
Yeah. Like, no, that's still a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
50.
Yeah.
But they just look
in terms
like
of
peers to
famous
you.
babes, though. Well, when I was really young, I had a poster of Heather Thomas, who was on T.J. Hooker. No, that was Heather Locklear. She was on The Fall Guy, I think. She was one of those blonde 80s women. And I don't even think I found her attractive, but I think I just kind of had it drilled into my head as like, blonde that's
80s
what
woman,
80s lady, that's what people go for. But then
Question, it's the 80s, goddammit. Get Heather Locklear up on these walls.
Exactly. But now, and I'd really have to think about it. The girl, Casey.
You're having the toughest time with this question.
I really am. Perry Farrell's girlfriend, Casey Nicole, when the woman who's on the cover of Nothing Shocking, I always just found her just ferociously hot. But
These are this is the most hipster responses
I'm
you've
sorry.
ever gotten to this. You're digging
Heather Thomas is
so
not
deep.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, I haven't honestly thought about this, and I'm already thinking about my wife's reaction to this.
Okay.
So jealous
enough.
over Heather Locklear.
I think it's my wife. Like even before I met her,
Christian, you told me Heather Locklear was in your past.
And you've never tried to... Go ahead.
I was just saying she could come home, she's going to throw a glass of wine at you.
You son of
It's
a
like
bitch.
somehow this is live in her apartment. This podcast.
I sense something.
Yeah.
You've never Instagrammed your middle school crush.
No.
You're just gonna
I've
let
been
that live
married.
in your head.
I'm very fortunate in the sense that I've been married since before social media, and I have no illusions about like my wife being cool about something like that.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? It was very established earlier in our relationship. I had never really had like, I had dated a girl for a year once, and then the same woman a few years later. We dated for like another year. But other than that, I really never had relationships longer than like 4 or 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did not have good behaviors when I met my wife. Like, not that I was like messing around, but I had a lot of like back burner situations.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Where
Mm-hmm.
it's like, hey, if this doesn't like, you know, I was friends with a few of my exes in
Right.
ways that maybe weren't totally appropriate or whatever. And, you know, I guess you could say that that was whipped out of me, or that I grew up, but I think that I definitely had sort of a
You committed for sanity's sake.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it just
and for
made my life
happiness.
easier.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just easier. I don't have that
Yes.
mania. Like I used to
It's
have
a
a
mania.
friend who just like it ran his fucking life. This dude, this guy who I was in a sketch group with when I first started doing comedy, he was also like super into like est and neurolinguistic programming, like kind of
Okay.
Scientology type stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of those sort of
What?
cult things, you know?
Yeah.
Like those, you know, those business culty kind of things. Like,
Yeah, like Landmark and like...
yeah, Landmark Forum, you know, where they be saying things like, always say a person's name, like, Graham, it's great to meet you. Graham, you make a good point. And nod when they're talking, so that, you know, like that kind of bullshit. But he was
Just worked
such
on me.
a...
I was transfixed. It was like, yeah, listen, he's saying something finally.
He's our leader.
this dude was such a scam hound. He was a rollerblader, and he bought a pair of women's rollerblades just off the street at like a yard sale. And then when he'd meet women, he'd be like, "Hey, do you want to go rollerblading?" And they'd be like, "Well, I don't rollerblade." It's like, "Oh, my sister has some." And so he literally bought a pair of pussy acquisition rollerblades. That's it was just a lot
Not
of
the tool I would have gone for that.
that was the 90s.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
it was a big inline decade.
It was a big inline decade. I remember that. Ooh.
Yeah.
All them chicks, huh? When they'd watch
So
me
many.
grind.
Yep.
All right.
What is your favorite euphemism for sex?
I've always liked bumping uglies.
Yeah, we like bumping uglies.
Yeah,
because
we
it's
like
just
that
so
here. We like that
goofy,
here.
you know?
we're fans
Yeah.
of bumping uglies.
Yeah, bumping ugly, because it's just like it's so active sounding. Like you can literally see just like
Yeah. And they don't have to be good looking ugly.
No,
Like,
no,
no, they're ugly.
They're
like
just ugly.
the
Yeah.
perfect film. Did you ever
There's
see?
no pressure to have a nice cock.
No.
Did you ever see Sideways?
I'm tired of that pressure.
Yes.
You know the Alexander Payne movie Sideways.
Yeah.
Do you remember when he has to sneak back into the room to get his wallet, and like the two like heavy people are like fucking in the bed? Like to me, that is the perfect distillation of just bumping uglies. Just two kind of out of shape people
Just
just kind of
bodies just slamming each
Like,
other. Yeah.
As Tone Loc said, that's what happens when bodies start slapping.
And that's 80s hip hop.
I get paid to do the wild thing.
Yeah.
All right. Please hold, Christian. We need to tally your scores. Okay.
Yeah.
Bear with us.
Started strong with bourbon. I don't like the cigarette thing. Was a little annoying.
Cigarettes.
Candy that made me feel.
Favorite drug is heart prescription
I've
medication.
never felt like I've had a
Right.
vagina before until
Those are our best tattoo.
nervous.
Mistletoe over the ears. But we learned about analingus, which
I
was a
did.
nice
I
term
did. I got a little
there.
hard there. I filled up my jeans. I like that. Musical theater that hurts.
Yeah, but $300K to play White Hamilton.
Yeah,
A lot of rapping. But I like it.
Better for music 90s. He chose the right one. I'm not comedy club. I learned he corrected me on Imelda Marcos. I didn't like that, but it was an alpha male move.
I don't respect it anyway.
Man, really dragging this tension out.
He
Took down cancel culture.
took down cancel culture, and that was brave. Yeah,
Strong man.
kind of really sat on the fence with Chappelle though.
That's true.
Very weak.
A little pathetic, yeah.
Shredding his bond with
Like a-
Taibo. I did not see.
Taibo. I know what that's
That's
up.
first public mention of Billy Blanks in 15 years.
It's a pre-kettlebell workout.
I like Billy Blanks as a D-list action star before he was involved with Taibo. He was like a third-tier Jean-Claude Van Damme in the late 80s.
Act like you can't hear him. He cannot
I
weigh
know
in
he
on
can.
that.
Yeah, I don't understand why.
I know I'm not supposed to be talking to you when
There's a sheeted
judging is
way,
going on.
but I
Billy
will look.
Blanks'
I will.
story and all
I will
that.
look that
I'm
up.
just gonna keep talking
I'm
too.
trying to watch
Seen
clips
some
on
of them. Actually,
YouTube.
it's,
Yeah, let's watch. Let's watch.
It's
Let's
not
get high and watch
actually
it.
very good. He had a
laptop,
And
which
then
was very
just,
cool.
man,
My favorite all-time babe is a girl from
He
8th
named
grade.
like
who we
11
can't
people from 8th grade.
mention,
I'm
so
confused.
Move on from that one. And bumping it. All right, Christian.
Okay. Yes.
5 kettlebells. 5 kettlebells.
Holy
Congratulations.
That's out of 5, right?
That is out of 5.
Out of 5.
That's out of 5.
Wow.
Yes.
You earned it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, I've really needed this. I've needed this. Like, I feel like
You
I've
seem like you
that,
needed a
like,
win.
That sign. I needed a win, and this is really
You earned
gonna
it.
carry
We
me.
don't give that away lightly. You earned it.
Well,
You
it's
got that
5
one?
kettlebells. How
You're
could you
damn
give away
right.
lightly? It's 5 kettlebells.
Exactly. You can't do. It's not possible to do it lightly. That also qualifies you to stay here for our next segment.
That's right.
Scalding hot.
How many kettlebells would I have had to get so I could leave?
Burn me down.
Anything less than 5.
Anything less than 5.
Anything less than 5. You can only stay
Okay.
if you do.
All right.
We've
I made the
taken
deal, and-
hundreds of episodes of this podcast. We only release the ones where guests get 5 kettlebells.
Okay.
It's a few. I mean, my career would be so much better.
It's a massive
Yeah.
waste. We had to turn down Robin Williams before he died. That was one of
So sad.
got 3
Mhm.
kettlebells.
We deleted it.
Kettlebells.
3.
Oh, 3 kettlebells.
No.
3 kettlebells.
Yeah. Listen, you jaff turkey.
He would be
Yeah, my man, 3 kettlebells.
unbearable guest.
I'm Leroy.
Robin, please get out of our house. We need you to leave.
Dude,
someone at home is like,
Come
no,
on, man.
But no.
I was doing shows at the Lakeshore Theater in Chicago, which doesn't exist anymore. And he had done like the big arena that night, and then came and like did time at the end of one of my shows. And I talked to him for like 20 minutes in the green room. Could not have been nicer. But he literally was doing like those voices in like conversation.
Yeah.
Like it felt like, oh, this is like an affliction. This is not.
You can't turn
like
off,
I would
yeah.
say like I went to France. Oh, I went to France. Oh, like just. Oh
Yeah.
my God, you're absolutely
would do
crazy.
what?
Like you
Like,
would
I
say
went to
like,
France, you'd be
oh,
like,
I went to
oh,
France.
oh,
You're like,
oh,
France,
France,
oh.
oh.
Like he couldn't.
Meanwhile, someone back home in Texas like France. And that,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Right.
Like you would say, like, you know, I love soda. Oh, I love the soda too. Like he couldn't not go into a voice. He couldn't be off.
Right.
Even though he was being totally nice and sincere.
He's like one of those people that like just like suits expect comedians to be when they walk into an audition room.
Right.
Yes.
So he can't turn it off, which is
No.
perfect for an audition. Like he is a comedian.
He is so funny, yeah.
At a party, he'd be just wild.
And you're so disappointing to them when you come in and you're like a normal person.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah, I'm not sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean, you know what I mean.
it's not an entertaining sad.
Yeah. That's right. Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, we all got the wrong type of sad.
I knew I ordered the wrong one.
All right.
Okay, next segment.
Kick us
Sorry.
off with a scalding hot take, Graham.
There is a brighter side. I just turned 40, and there's a brighter side of dating in your 40s. Is you can disappoint your girlfriend, and they don't argue. They just sort of are resigned to the fact that you're too old to change.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like I haven't seen my girlfriend in 10 days, and we had loose plans to hang out when I landed, and I texted her saying I'm going to do this podcast, and she just went, okay.
She understands how important this is.
Yeah.
I mean, there are literally.
Yeah.
Is she a comedy person or?
She's a comedy person.
All right, well,
she
then I
gets
feel
it.
like she on a joke. She gets it then, yeah.
But I mean, if it was another girl, I mean, it might just. I mean, I could give her credit and say that she's just cooler than my ex-girlfriends.
Possible.
But I think part of it is
It's Rita Rudner, isn't it?
it's Rita Rudner.
It's Rita Rudner.
Yes.
I knew it.
Yeah. She's also too tired herself.
Yes.
To
She understands that this is the #1 podcast in Turkey for edgy comedy, and if we were to let down our Turkish fans, it would be the end of our careers.
I always follow.
we are. We were the #1 podcast in Turkey
for a little while. There was some type of glitch where we were the #1 podcast in Turkey, and we
specifically the Turkish Edge charts.
just the Turkish comedy charts. We were weirdly.
It is true. We're not.
And
lying.
was everything else on the list just like the normal stuff?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. I don't
And then
know
Turkey, a huge spike.
what happened, but we have a huge following. in
Honestly,
Turkey.
that's always such an indication to me of like how few people like when somebody would be like, my new album is #1 on the comedy iTunes charts. Like, yeah, because you sold 32
'Cause your
copies.
family bought
and
it. Yeah.
nobody buys comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's embarrassing.
it's such a
yeah.
and mine didn't even do it.
Oh,
I got to 3. I got 3rd because it came out on the same day as 2 other people releasing comedy albums. So it's like, well, they knew more people than me.
They just come from a family with more, like their parents had more brothers and sisters.
I mean, I was
they have
telling
higher
people.
on the
I was
comedy.
also telling people they're like, "We're gonna buy your album." I'm like, "Please don't." Like, I'm not gonna see any of that money. It goes to some like label. So please just like stream it if you want to listen to it. Don't waste your money buying my album.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would certainly if I was a label owner and I was listening to this podcast, I'd be like, sign me up with that guy.
I owe you nothing.
tell people
800-pound gorilla.
I had to do that in order to you have to do a bunch of things to get a green card if you're a comedian. And
I've heard.
And that's right. And so I had to like promote mine, but I only got to 2.
Okay. Well,
But
hey, you'll get there, buddy.
thanks.
All right, I got a scalding hot take here. I feel like the majority of popular 90s love songs, I don't know, maybe not the majority, but like a heavy amount of popular 90s love songs were men describing women who couldn't possibly exist in society. It was a lot of like she only eats when there's lightning and she'll never use a verb kind of thing, like Black Crows and
Never mentions
all of this stuff.
forgiveness.
Yes, there's just like all of the there's a ton of these songs. Matchbox 20 had one. Black Crows, Counting Crows, Train, Cake. Yeah, Train has 2. Meet Virginia. She wears high heels when she exercises. Like you
Really?
can't
That person
you
doesn't
can't
exist.
survive that
No,
way.
nobody does that. You're not actually exercising.
Just these weird descriptions of women who would
I mean, maybe if you're doing like lat pull downs, you could do it.
not pull downs. You could do in high heels. It'd be a weird choice, but you could do
Working your
it.
calves.
It'd be weird.
You can't. You definitely can't Taibo in high heels.
No,
I've tried.
Oh, we're both hacks. All right. I don't know. This is not a scalding hot take so much as a conspiracy theory. I play a lot of NBA 2K. I for years have been convinced that they subtly make the white players in NBA 2K better than they are in real life. Like they're better in the video game than they are in real life because I think in my theory, first of all, I don't know that that's true, but that's the way it feels. You'll see these marginal NBA players, white NBA players who are like lighting it up in 2K. You're just getting roasted by Kelly Olynyk.
Pump fake.
And I think it's because maybe there's market research to support this, that they think that white players want to like win with the white player, like a kid wants to I want to beat Kevin Durant with a white guy. Like I don't know that that's true, but I've long had that theory.
I bet you there is decent chance you're right. I don't think that's a shot in the dark.
Yeah,
I think there's
there's just white players dunking on people that just would never dunk on people in real life.
Yeah.
Well, there's a way to find out. You could get the Kelly Olynyk comparison on whatever other team who has the same rating, and then see if they have the same.
Yeah, that's you know what? If I
do that tonight,
20 minutes,
ignore your
then I
wife.
would do that.
Please do this with your time. Please do a deep dive investigation on if white players in NBA 2K are getting juiced.
Yeah.
The last basketball video game I played was NBA Jam, and I will say,
Me too.
I don't believe Scott Skiles could really slam dunk from the free throw line, but NBA Jam made me believe differently.
It's true.
I think you stopped playing once
Orlando.
that horrible fire broke out in your house, and so now we hear he's on fire.
The metal is on fire.
It brings back bad memories.
Jet fuel doesn't melt steel.
Have you seen NBA Jam?
Conspiracy
It
theory
doesn't
version.
melt steel. That's so funny.
Mom,
What? Just he's randomly.
My brother is drinking a lot, and he has autism. And
Okay, right.
and
it's a roller coaster.
It's going.
and I think people are like, "It's not, I think it's good.
Like,
It's literally helping him pass the time and making him happy.
Is he like severely autistic?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but
enough.
he can't like live by himself.
He does live by himself, but
Okay.
semi-assisted.
Okay, yeah,
He could not, if he had no help, he could not function.
yeah. My uncle was like that. He was schizophrenic, but he was like, he had a job, but he was like, here's Kevin. He worked at the gas company. He was kind of like the mascot of the, like, kind of like Benny on LA Law. Like he was, he did technically lived alone, but he was, monitored very closely. But,
yeah.
and so he's drinking a lot. And so you think the scalding hot take is that that's a good thing?
I mean,
I don't see it being a bad
I
thing.
think I'm
helping
fine
him
with
pass the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
My other scalding hot take, just a quick one here, is it can always get worse. So enjoy your life now. I had a bad hip all summer, and I was pissed that I couldn't play basketball. But I could walk, and now I'm having crazy muscle spasms that feel like a knife, and I'm on muscle relaxants all day.
You're like,
And
I
I'm
wish I could go back
tired.
to that bad hip days.
I wish I had a bad hip, just a regular bad hip. Yeah, could be worse.
What's this? That's the scalding hot take.
It could be worse.
Okay. All right. Scalding hot, folks. Live, love, laugh from Graham K. Today is a gift. That's why they call it the present.
Hey,
Scorcher.
good idea.
Scorcher of a hot take. All right. I got a hot take. This one was sent to me. This was a hot take from a fan. We'll call them the Brick Brothers down in Tampa, Florida. They sent
You're
me a
gonna
hot
call
take.
them that?
Well, that's what they're called. Here it is. That you can't hang out with anyone who uses party as a verb past 35.
I've always passionately believed that, even pre-35. I've always hated party as a verb. It's always been so I fully support that.
Let's party.
Yeah. Oh man, I was partying last night.
I was partying,
Were you?
yeah.
Were you partying?
Yeah.
Or were you standing around at a bar drinking alcohol?
I see.
You guys want to party later? Yeah, let's fucking party.
Right. Yeah, I never really understood that.
I mean, I get it slightly if you're like a real drug user and you're using it as sort of socially acceptable code for like, I want to do blow later. Like, do you party? Like, if that, I don't like it, but at least I understand it. But when people are just talking about like hanging out and drinking or whatever, it's like there's not. This isn't a party.
We partied.
not partying.
Yeah, you're not like
We're not partying, dude.
like streamers. And
yeah.
just all like locking.
Whoa! It's fine. It's fine. We're
Yeah.
We're not cutting to that angle
It's
anymore.
not even been on this whole time. So, but yeah, we party. We were doing flappers. We were doing
Yeah.
Yeah, then I'd be like, oh, they fucking party. Then I'd
Those old champagne glasses. Oh,
those guys are fucking partying. We have any more hot takes around this table?
no, I didn't really even have one.
Well, things
one
things
more.
can
I'll
always get
throw
better.
one
as time-
more.
Yes,
Just,
thank you.
If your favorite thing about music is lyrics, then you don't like music.
Hey, thank you. Hello.
Oh, let's have
yes, I
now
love
we're
that
onto
one.
something. We are
That
onto
is a
something.
good one. I love that. I agree so much. I agree so much.
Thank you.
When
Yes.
Casey and I had to pick a first dance wedding song. And I had like a bunch that were all very like mood and vibe driven.
Right.
And she would be like, but the lyrics in this are saying this thing. And I'd be like, who the fuck
No one-
cares? We got in a
no one will
huge fight over this. Because I was like,
One of your classic blow-ups?
yes, truly. Because I was like, who the fuck cares what, like, it's about a feeling. It's a vibe. And I think it was, the song that I was pushing for was,
The curly shuffle.
yes. It was, I wanted to do left foot, left stomp.
Mambo number 5.
It was a cover of it was Sturgill Simpson covering The Promise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's such a great like vibe.
Yeah.
But she was just, I can't even remember what her criticism of the lyrics was, but I was like, you can't even hear what he's saying, Bear.
It's totally vibe.
And we got in a huge fight because I was like, it's the lyric. It doesn't matter. What matters is the vibe. And she was like, what do you mean the words don't matter? This is our first dance. And it became like a huge fight. And I was like, I'm not making a philosophical argument. I'm just talking about music. Like the vibe, the feeling it creates is more important than what it's saying. And,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Our processional.
I'm so angry.
We got in a huge fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, not our
your
like
side.
first dance song, which we didn't really care about, but like our processional was Head Over Heels by Tears for Fears.
Okay.
And it was like on a DJ, as a Craig Baldo, our friend Craig Baldo was like DJing it. But just hearing that like piano opening, that's all people heard and they loved it. And then by the time we were actually walking down the aisle, they're not listening like, well, is he technically head over heels at this
Yes.
point? Like, are they talking about the weather?
That's how I feel.
yeah,
It just creates a vibe. It creates a
Yeah.
feeling, and that's what you're responding to. Although, like great lyrics and great lyricists make a big difference.
Yeah,
Like,
they're great, but they're an addition. They're not, they're an addition. But if that's like
It's a garnish.
most important
Lyrics
thing,
are a garnish to
Yes,
music.
yes,
It's-
I agree.
I hold them in a higher esteem than that, but I still agree they're not like
Yeah.
It's the way.
or
the song
it's
makes you
fine. But
feel.
just what you're admitting to me is that like you don't really care about music, like or that you care about it, but you understand that you can't put it into words, so you just gravitate towards lyrics because that's an easier thing to lock onto.
Yeah.
And I hate it because I think a lot of music writers are like that. You'll read like album reviews. 150-word album review, and somebody will quote like lyrics 3 times. It's like, what are you doing? Like, tell me about how it sounds. Like,
I'll do
Yeah.
it like this. Without Elton John, Bernie Taupin works. He's a barista.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
And
exactly.
without Bernie Taupin, Elton John is still Elton John.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Yes.
Another handshake.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good.
Fucking took down Bernie Taupin finally.
Somebody had to. God.
All right. Well, that is our podcast. Christian, where can people find you? Where can they?
I am on all platforms at Christ Finnegan, ChristFinnegan. I now have an Instagram. I'm 50 years late to that, but I have hired a woman to help me be in the 21st century. So
Make posts for me, woman.
kind of, sort of. Well, like, just I get very overwhelmed, and I've never been a picture guy in my life, but she's kind of trying to help me, just teach me how to do that stuff in a way that doesn't make me want to jump off a bridge. But yeah, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Christ Finnegan. I just refurbished my website. It just went live today. My new streamlined website,
Whoa.
which nobody goes to websites anymore, but all my albums and stuff you can link up to there. It's just ChristianFinnegan.com.
Cool. Graham, you got anything? I know you just came back from 2 weeks on the road. But.
Well, if you're in Pennsylvania, come see me at the end of the month. I'm also going to be in Royal Oak, Michigan, and headlining my own shows. And I'm going to be...
That's
ooh,
a
I'm
fun
gonna,
club,
I'm-
right?
I'm-
What's that club?
Yeah,
That Royal-
Castle, Comedy Castle.
Yeah, I heard it's fun.
And I'm going to be in Louisville, Kentucky at Planet of the Tapes headlining. So you can go to grahamk.com, a website, to find all that. And if you haven't followed me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. That's it.
Yep. And then same. Robby Slowik, Twitter, Instagram.
Can I just for a minute bring up how large my head is compared to Robbie's?
I'm much further back from you than it's
I know,
it's a
but still, it's
perspective
like
thing.
my big
Perspective
Irish
thing,
head.
and you have an Irish head. Yeah.
It's an Easter Island head.
It's good for good.
Well, I say that's how we get out of this fucking
Sorry.
podcast. So let's just say what we always say at the end of every episode, which is
Fuck you.